Second time doing this. Andhadhun, very good movie overall. I might be saying that wrong, but very great movie. You'll see in the title if you're watching this. Pramod looking back on his past. This is pretty much the start of the movie. Pretty good movie overall. I don't want to give my rating until the end. Sophie runs into him after a traffic accident. That was pretty interesting because she was talking about how the driver was blind and he was blind, but we'll go into that later. Sophie and him go out to lunch. Akash, which very good plot so far. I very much like this movie at the start. Very good starting. Akash says he plays the piano. She is surprised, which I feel like overall most people would be surprised. He's blind and playing the piano very well. Very high level. Akash pretends to be blind, which we later find out he is blind, and we don't really know his main motivations. He said it's music, but we're not overall sure. He plays music in a restaurant, and her dad actually owns a restaurant. Pramod is watching, and he's actually an Indian actor, so that's pretty much, he's watching, trying to recruit him. He says he's a star, and then he's actually trying to work towards his goal to actually go to London, Akash. That's pretty much the main thing he's trying to work for. Loki is suspicious of him being blind because that's just how he moves, stuff like that. That's been the main thing. And montage of, and pretty much this whole thing, they're writing and they're pretty much in love with each other, Sophie and Akash. That's pretty much the main thing. Pramod wants a private concert for his wife. This is when it gets really interesting overall. And she's actually watching old movies of him, Simi. And she's actually looks kind of bored of him throughout the whole movie. That's the main thing. Really uninterested in him and overall. That's the main thing. Akash and Sophie drink together. They start making out. I don't really want to say, but you already know. Akash visits Simi for a private concert. And then Akash notices a body in the corner of his eye. That's when things really get interesting in this movie. And I was like, what's happening? Pramod is body on the floor. They pass by it because they think he's blind. They don't really know it yet. And the guy in the room, I thought it was a hitman, but he was in the bathroom, literally in the shower. Like, not with the shower on, but literally right there. Akash sees Pramod dead finally because he walks right by. Pramod walks in flashback and is looking... And he walks in on his wife cheating with someone else, and he has a gun. He gets a gun from the other guy. He was very surprised. It really didn't look like that. They hide the body. Simi put Pramod in luggage, which that was pretty interesting. I felt like he was kind of too big to fit in that luggage. I was kind of confused about that. They tried to stick Akash in thinking he left, which they were like having a speaker out, really playing music and stuff like that. Simi says Pramod is late, which that was his really first sign. He really already knew. Akash goes to the police station and reports a murder, and the guy's actually a police officer, and he's actually the boss. He's the commissioner or something. Akash tells him it was a cat, which that was the funniest part. They go to his house. Manohar trying to catch Akash. He was trying to really prove that he wasn't blind. That was pretty the main thing. Simi reports Pramod dead and really gets a lot of sympathy overall from a lot of other people. Pramod's watch was found in like a public toilet, and then some random guy picks it up and turns it in. Donnie, his daughter, asks Akash what happens, which he really doesn't know that much because he was in there, but he really can't say what actually happened because most of the people think he's blind. Akash blurts out Simi and Manohar killed him and shoved his body in a bag and says he isn't blind. That's the insane, which they don't really take him seriously after that, and that's the main thing I don't really get. Akash performs the funeral music. He actually performs at the funeral. That was pretty interesting. I would say the music in the movie is very good. I would say a 10. So a local neighbor said it was a lie, and the piano guy was over there. He said a man in the elevator, and then the guy looked like a bodybuilder. And then Manohar actually starts coughing overall, and that's the main thing. And then the neighbor says his wife said he should get sketched done. That's the main overall thing. Sophie wants to know what's going wrong with Akash, which he's really not going anywhere overall. Akash goes into Simi's apartment and sees Simi throw the woman off the balcony, but she doesn't know he's blind yet, so the evidence died with her, which that was pretty much a bad thing. Simi visits Akash. Simi puts something in Akash's coffee. Simi finds out poison because he just throws the cup over and really doesn't take it. He says that him being blind is actually an experiment for music because it's better. I don't really know. I don't really get that. Akash says he won't return and will go to London. Akash is actually poisoned. Simi acts like Akash and her slept together when Sophie comes in. Sophie finds out he was blind from Neighborhood Kid because he actually had a video. Stuck a stick up there and was filming. Akash tried to talk to Sophie, says he broke her heart. Simi tells Monaghan that he blinded her, and Monaghan says he should kill him, which that was a pretty interesting part. And this is the part where it gets interesting, because at the end there's a theory that what actually happened isn't what you think. I really like this movie. Definitely very good for recommending this. Akash found in the street, taken to the hospital, which it gets very interesting after this. Lottery ticket lady thanks Akash and says he has no family. Doctors want his kidneys and leave him behind. They just want to leave him behind the rocks. So pretty much on the tracks. Akash jumps on the operation, was offering them money, like 1 crore rupee or something like that. I don't really know the equivalent of what that would be in US or anything like that. Akash convinces them. He actually convinces them. The reason why is because he says that they have the lottery ticket lady is Lady Shiva tattoo on her, and somehow he can tell it, but he was actually not blind before, and he knows about it, sees a car in front of him, and can tell. So that's where it gets very confusing. Did Simi actually blind Akash, and what happened with that? Did he put the contacts on? Because the contacts in his eyes looked very much like of what happened. Akash tells them amazing things about themselves, like I said. Akash is sitting in the living room and says he's going to London, which that was pretty interesting. Simi tries to kill Akash. Akash can't get his eyes. He's trying to like really get his eyes. Black market said it was like 1 million rupees or something like that. Doctors have a plan to capture Simi. Akash talks. He actually talks to the guy's wife and Monaghan and actually tells him. He tells him, blackmails him, and saying he's cheating, and she's actually like shooting at him. It really gets insane. Simi is found out at something point. I don't want to say it because I think there's demonetization if you say it on YouTube, but it's something where you do something. I'm not going to say it. Simi said the gun went off by accident. Monaghan. Simi and... This is a really interesting movie overall. Akash is tied up. Simi wants to help they want to help each other. This is when it really gets interesting. And they're kind of working together at this point. But then Simi really just betrays Akash and actually attacks him. And this is where it gets interesting. Monaghan actually shoots Merle, which he's actually one of the persons trying to get his kidney on the black market. Monaghan is trapped in the elevator. That was kind of interesting. Akash and Simi untie each other. Simi attacks Akash, like I said. The doctor knocked her out, and then she actually, after that, they take her in, and they're driving down the road, and she actually wakes up, and suddenly the doctor just has a bunch of blood on him, and his like neck's cut. It's literally insane. And the doctor and Akash are going to Mumbai. That's where they're going. 2 years later, Sophie in France. And she sees Akash performing. It's like A and then Kosh at the end. More of like a dot in the middle, something like that. Kind of a cool stage in my opinion. Very good. And Akash let Simi go and pretty much gave up his eyes. That's what I was thinking. And the doctor really wanted to kill Simi. That was the main thing. Simi is driving and telling Akash and telling Simi the plan, thinking it's really the doctor, but he doesn't know that. So there was a rabbit at the start of this movie. I forgot to mention that. And this farmer's like trying to hunt this rabbit. And this rabbit literally jumps by the car and he nearly shoots the car. But the main thing is the rabbit hits the car and then Simi just goes flying. And that's, some people think it might be karma. Some people were saying that just overall it could be a different thing, that it was just a coincidence. And some people, because Akash at that point, he actually moved, so he kind of senses it coming. But some people were saying, is he actually blind at that point? Was he lying, and he's such a good liar that at that point they couldn't even tell what was true at that point? But I don't know, I feel like he was probably kind of blind, because I don't really know what's going on with that. Like, how did Akash was blind before that? But I guess his contacts did look alike. But the main thing that I don't really believe is because she even said that she blinded him, unless it's his own point of view. And it could have been he was lying about being blinded again, and it could have been that. But what do you think overall? And then the other theory is Akash actually took Simi's eyes, which in my opinion, I think that one's pretty accurate. That's probably what's gonna happen. I rate this new movie a 9.7 out of 10. I think RRR is still a better movie, and just better overall plot. I feel like the action in that movie was insane. But definitely, this is a very good movie. I definitely like this movie. Kind of a dark comedy, like someone was saying, but very good movie overall. And what do you think about this? Goodbye, and that's probably the end of my movie review. And are you gonna be watching this? You should definitely watch this movie. It's a lot of fun to watch. I feel like it's just a very good experience. I feel like you're really just paying attention all the way through, really watching it and engaging. I really had to keep a notepad out to really write down everything I was gonna say, because I want to be a bit better than the last one. I was kind of struggling on the last one a bit. Hopefully this one is better, but what do you think? And goodbye.